Once again, we have some LEC news to talk about today. I'm really loving these off-season times. Obviously, anytime when we're getting roster moves and big things happening, I'm always enjoying it. Those are my favorite time, other than like Worlds. These are probably my favorite times of League of Legends esports. These are things I live for. I love the discussions, all the different things that can happen, theory crafting rosters, all that good stuff. And we have another one today. Sheep Esports saying sources 80 carry Kadoui is set to join SK Gaming in the LEC. Rahel is going to be moving to the bench. So there's another series of moves obviously being made by SK as they're looking to definitely turn things around after what was a pretty rough winter split for them overall. But here's what we got. Sources Kadoui set to replace Rahel at SK Gaming in the LEC. Also, side note, now all 5 members of Team BDS Academy 2024 are now in the LEC, so that's pretty cool to see that going on there. We do have this article that I want to dive into a little bit about more of the details and everything. This one from Wooloo, obviously. SK Gaming are set to make a second roster change ahead of the LEC spring split. We know we talked about the previous move where they're making the jungle change, stuff like that a couple videos ago. This decision will see SK Gaming's I skipped ahead a little bit. SK Gaming are set to make a second roster change ahead of the LEC spring split. The German org has reached an agreement with LFL team BK Rogue Esports to acquire their bot laner Kadoui. This information was shared by sources to Sheep Esports on Saturday. Follows the news of SK Gaming acquiring a new jungler earlier this week. The decision will see SK Gaming's current bot laner Rahel moved to the bench with an inactive roster salary. According to sources, the move is primarily due to Rahel's lack of in-game communication. By signing Kadoui, SK Gaming aims to strengthen its bot lane with a more vocal presence. Now, moves like this are always going to be really, really hard for us to evaluate because obviously we don't know entirely what SK's communication or comms or anything look like that before. We don't necessarily, it's hard and almost impossible to say how Kadoui is going to fit into those comms and stuff now. So yeah, moves like this are always really, really hard to speculate about and kind of give a fair and accurate representation to. But I think it seems interesting for sure. And obviously SK desperately needed to make some kind of changes or have things go differently than they did this last split. Having turned 21 in February, Rahel joined SK Gaming in May of 2024 while the team finished 9th this winter split. He previously delivered strong performances in summer 2024 when SK secured first place in the regular season. With both Yzma and Rahel now out of the team, none of the starting 5 players who achieved that result remain on SK Gaming's roster anymore, which is really crazy. I mean, that's a very, very short amount of time to make a full roster overhaul from a team who had a very, very successful regular season. Beyond adding a more experienced shot caller, Kadoui will also reunite with his former teammates, JanX and Reeker. This reunion should help restore synergy to a team that struggled significantly in this area during winter. Kadoui previously played alongside JanX and Reeker with Team BDS Academy. Following their success, 4 of the 5 players from that roster moved up to the LEC, leaving Kadoui as the only remaining player in the ERLs. Now with this move to SK, all 5 members of Team BDS Academy 2024 will have reached the LEC. This signing also reinforces SK Gaming's commitment to Reeker and JNX as core members of its revamped roster. Although Kadoui's arrivals frees up an import slot, which led SK Gaming to consider mid laners such as Gory, the team's decision to bench Yzma instead of Reeker confirms that no mid lane changes will take place. So that's why I always love reading these articles. That's why I love diving into what Wooloo has to say, because he gives us these little tidbits and stuff where it does seem like, hey, they considered mid lane options, stuff like that, and knowing that we could have had SK Gory potentially, that's pretty interesting to me. I think that's pretty cool. Like I said, just why I love these articles and I love reading them, these juicy details and the what ifs and all that stuff. That's super, super fun for me. After years of competing in various ERLs and achieving strong results in both Spain and Germany, Kadoui won the LFL in 2024. However, after failing to make it to the LEC last year, he signed with BK Rogue for the 2025 season. Despite a promising start, finishing first in Group B of the LFL Flash in groups, BK Rogue struggled in the Swiss stage, ultimately falling 1-2 to Solari. Now 24 years old, the German bot laner is finally set to make his LEC debut, returning to one of his former orgs as he previously played for SK Gaming's Academy team in the Prime League. And again, we do have that full SK roster now for the spring split, seemingly confirmed: JNX, Bukata, Reeker, Kadoui, and Loopy. We do have, I want to take a look at the Sheep stats, Sheep ranking, stuff like that from this past split, seeing that we did have Rahel ranked as the number 880 carry overall. Stats-wise, doesn't really look that great. He did have some nice CS per minute or high CS per minute, but gold per minute, damage per gold, damage per minute were all very, very high, or, you know, not very good, highly ranked. So that's not that great. And then Kadoui coming in, obviously as an ERL player, many people probably won't know as much about. We do have him ranked as the number 3 AD carry in the LFL, obviously one of the strongest ERLs overall. So being a top player in the LFL is always going to be a good sign. Number 1 in KDA, with some, you know, a little bit stronger numbers in terms of damage per minute, damage per gold, kills, assists, stuff like that. So again, will this move help out at SK? Will it level them up? We're gonna have to wait and see, but either way, interesting and exciting to have some LEC roster moves going on. Hopefully we catch you guys in the next one. Until then, peace. Holy, great tasting energy drinks that are also healthier than the competition. Check out that first link in the description below and use discount code SE10 to get 10% off your entire basket today.